Matt Damon, welcome to the project again. Congratulations on the film as well. It's set in 14th century France and it's about two dudes dueling, but by all accounts it's a feminist movie. How's that?
Well, it's this true story about these two knights who dueled to the death, one of whom claimed the other had raped his wife, and they had been friends, and then this event happened, and the one denied it and the other asserted that it was true, and the way they decided whether or not it was true was to let God decide, which meant that they fought to the death, and this was sanctioned by the king. But we really saw it as this story about perspective. But in reading the book, what was most striking was this woman at the center of this book, the Lady Marguerite de Carouge, was just this hero that nobody had ever heard of, and that we certainly hadn't heard of. And reading about what she did and what it took for her to stand up and speak truth to power the way she did was just this awesome story. So it's just kind of a good old-fashioned yarn, and I think that's what attracted us in the first place.
Because it's set in the 14th century, but yet some of the issues are still so prevalent today. There's a line in the film that says, "The truth does not matter, only the power of men," which is so incredibly chilling. How do you reflect on those things?
Well, look, this is our antecedent culture, of which we descended from this culture, and there are these vestigial aspects of these systems still in place today. And in the time in which she was living, a woman wasn't even a person. She didn't even have personhood. She was considered property. She was the property of her father until she was married off to a man who was basically her father's age. And then she became the property of that man, her husband. And she refused to kind of accept what had happened to her. She wanted justice. And it's really quite an amazing and heroic thing that she did.
You are risking my life so you can fight your enemy and save your pride.
After 30 years and dozens of movies under their belts, The Last Duel sees Matt and Ben finally writing together again.
How is it working with Ben again? I mean, the last time you two wrote a screenplay together, you won an Oscar, so no pressure, hey?
Well, yeah, those kind of things, you just kind of get on with it. You're like, well, that was a one-off, that worked out.
You're my best friend, so don't take this the wrong way. In 20 years, if you're still living here, I'll kill you.
But the last time we wrote a script, it was 25 years ago, we didn't really know what we were doing, and so we wrote thousands and thousands of pages because we didn't quite understand structure. And I think just because we've been doing nothing but make movies our entire adult lives, for a quarter of a century, and telling these 3-act stories in 2 hours, just by osmosis, we kind of picked up structure. So we actually went a lot faster this time, and I think we had been put off about writing again just because we thought it was going to take so much time, because the last time it did, we were these unemployed actors, and it's not like we were on a deadline. Nobody cared what we were up to. But this time it was like we had a deadline, and we were like, can we do this? But we really had a great time doing it and enjoyed it. The subject matter was really interesting. It's why I love making movies. It's collaborative art, and that means that you get to work with wonderful people.
I barely recognised Ben in the trailer. He should rock that look to avoid the pats, Between his sort of Bieber-style cut and your Aussie-esque mullet, there was some wild hairstyles going on.
Yeah, it was almost Aussie rules level. It's like in our part of the world, it's a hockey player haircut. But that all came from Ridley. Ridley Scott directed the movie, obviously. He's very, very visual, and he sent us these concept drawings. And so my guy is still remembered 600 years later as a pretty savage warrior. And Ridley just saw it as he didn't have time for a haircut. He'd just take his knife and cut the side so he could throw the helmet on and kind of go battle. And so those were the concepts behind the looks, which I thought were really on point. And so that's how we ended up.
Okay, so it's Ridley Scott's idea. I thought perhaps Ben's look was a request from J-Lo.
I don't think that's anybody's request other than the director.
Matt's only recently returned to the States after spending 6 months down under while filming the latest Thor movie.
Build a statue for me.
We will build a big statue for you.
With my helmet on, with the big bendy horns.
Hey, when are we likely to see you back out here?
Oh, man, we had such a great time there. I love it there. It's a second home for us, as you know, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully we can bring this Delta variant to heal and we can all get on with our lives. That would be great.
Totally. Well, great to chat again, Matt. Thanks so much for being on the project, and all the best with The Last Duel.
Thanks, Gary. Cheers.
And The Last Duel is in cinemas, those that are unaffected by COVID, on October 14.
Hey there, thanks for watching. Carrie loves to hear from viewers. Please forward your feedback to Carrie's email, perth/girl/21@hotmail.com. And be sure to subscribe. That wasn't Carrie you heard off screen.